Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel. Guys, I don't know how to... It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing that Gypsy's off parole and supposedly free because, well, she committed a heinous act. And she used somebody for that heinous act, and that man's going to sit in prison for the rest of his life. And she used this whole year to manipulate, calculate everything we know about Gypsy. Everything we know about her. She went and proved us right. She put out stuff. She got letters from Dawn Boker. Dawn Boker, who, thank you, Fancy, because without Dawn Boker in the story, she wouldn't have had anything. See, Fancy, as we've already shown, Fancy from Good Wives Network paid Dawn Boker, probably not a lot, probably more or less from the things that I've even read, manipulated Dawn Boker into talking to Nick. We've seen this. We've seen this. And then Fancy tried to make it right with Dawn Boker, but Gypsy got to Dawn first. And I bet you Gypsy had more money than Fancy, because Fancy doesn't pay anybody. When you take Fancy somewhere, she gets you for kidnapping. Remember that? So thank you, Fancy. We have all to thank you for Dawn Boker and how Gypsy came out and shared the conversations she had with Dawn in helping to make Nick look worse. We already had FOIAs that showed where everything came from. It all came from Gypsy. It was all shown with Gypsy. The trial with Dan talking about the role play. All of that. Gypsy, Gypsy, Gypsy. But Fancy had to throw Dawn Boker in there, because at that point in time, Fancy was working for Gypsy and wanted to make Nick appear as vile as possible. And she succeeded in that. And then Fancy had her little falling out. Or did she? I don't know if she did or she didn't. How can you trust Fancy? But I know one thing. Without Dawn Boker, Gypsy wouldn't have had all this shit. So you deserve credit. Well done you, having space on the internet to create such a fucking mess. So thank you for that. Fancy, I don't know that Nick is getting out. I don't think Nick is getting out. I think all somebody did was ask for an appeal. Stop the FOIAs. But there were people that got a little bit of the FOIAs before that happened, so it makes you wonder who's doing what. Well, NPG is taking credit. They must have got their $250,000. They didn't. Why all of a sudden are they doing the appeal? They're taking credit for the appeal now, right? Without $250,000. Is that not suspicious? Is timing a little messed up there? You know, the more I think about this, the more organized and everything this is. I have to believe at this point that NPG, all of these people are working with Gypsy. And maybe it would be funny. It would be funny if Dawn was paid by the NPG Cornerstone money. Why not? Why couldn't that be possible? You can't really believe these people now, right? I mean, like, they're putting stuff out there, like I said in my last video, that the people in authority have taken back and said, no, we can't let this out because now there's an appeal. But they got it before they went for that appeal. That doesn't, that, not, yeah, Something else to bring up here. I saw something about Bree on Conspiracy, where Bree talked about how she didn't, let me see if I can get this correct.
If that means I'm a bully, then I'd rather be a bully than...
There has been lots of controversy following Gypsy's recent video she made in tribute for her friend Bree. After Gypsy's anti-bullying video, many criticized the hypocrisy of calling out bullying after Gypsy released her ex, Ryan Anderson's, medical information in an attempt to intimidate him into silence, as well as publicly supporting her friend Bree, who is a well-known bully and even admits it herself. In this recent audio clip, it shows Bree admitting to bullying and claiming it is the only thing that has kept her alive. Here's the clip.
Like me making fun of me, you know, showing a picture of Keish with lipstick around her lips, like, oh my god, ooh, or me, you know, mocking Dink, me making fun of Morbid, you know what, all those things, doing those things to make me laugh has kept me from literally my own self. So I'm not sorry for any of it, to be honest. I'm not sorry that y'all get to laugh at my expense every single day.
Bree, go back in time. You went after Nina. You went after Nina. You went after Nina. And Nina had friends. Just like, I guess you went after Nina because you felt Nina was going after your friend Gypsy. So Nina had friends that protected Nina. And that's what happened. Had you have just let Nina do her job by reporting what she wanted to report as a content creator, which she has every right to, which you say we all have the right to, I guess, but we don't have the right to do it against Gypsy, and you're going to be her bodyguard. You started this with Nina. You got Nina fired. And then what happened was people got back at you and said you can't do that. And then you went after Becca. And you didn't just go after what you thought would, I don't know, take Becca's credentials away. You went after her family. You didn't just stop with what you could have stopped and said, hey, listen, you know, she's no longer a registered nurse, You could have stopped there. Nope, you went after her family. You went after my dead ex-wife. So, Bree, go home, be with your husband. Why doesn't he take care of you, Bree?
So after months of dealing with it, I decided that I'm going to laugh at y'all's expense. Because I would rather do that than stay up alive and sit in my living room and cry my eyes out.
Bree, aren't you married? Where's your husband? Because he should be taking care of this shit. And you claim to have real friends. Well, I don't know. It usually works that if you're ready to cry or you're upset, that there's usually somebody that you could reach out to, at least by phone or, you know, talk to text or, I don't know. Where's your friends? Where are the people that should be there for you? Where are they? Come on.
Okay? That's what I would rather do. Whether you like it or not. If that means I'm a bully, then I'd rather be a bully than my mom have to, or I'd rather be bullied than my nephew or my niece not get to see me anymore. Because yeah, it can get that serious.
And that does it. That says all about Bree. She knows how serious it can get, so she just keeps going in on it. But she's worried about how her family's going to find her. She had no regards to anybody else's family. Bree started this. And when people started getting pissed and got back at Bree by taking her anonymity and started mentioning her family's names, just like she did. I mean, shit, she did it. Just the same way, Bree screamed, foul, foul. Bree, go make real friends and go build your relationship with your husband. You need real people in your life because you live in Fakeville. Like you live in fake land.
So you know what, if y'all want to call me a bully, you know how sometimes as you're talking you just have this realization come over you? And that's like what's happened to me right now, because sometimes you think, like I think like, oh, I'm so strong. Like, no. There's days where I have not been strong, truly, but the only reason I became strong is because I came in here and I laughed with my friends. So yeah, I don't give up if you call me a bully. I don't care, because you know what, I'd rather be that than period. And that's not me trying to play the victim, that's me being real.
How her bullying people, she started it. She started the bullying, by the way. She started the doxing and everything, by the way. I'm pretty sure she went after Becca Scoops before Becca Scoops said anything about Bree's look. And Bree If you don't have a problem with how you look, stop using filters so that when people see you for the first time, they're not, oh my gosh, like, how'd that happen? Just take pride in how you look. You know, like Bree, that would be a you problem. A you problem, Bree. You started bullying Nina all on your own. That was a long time ago. Nina didn't say shit about you. Nina was reporting on something that she had every right to talk about, and that was Gypsy. And you decided to get on here and be a crusader for Gypsy. That's fine. You have every right to come on here, and nobody else was doing it. That should have told you maybe you were on the wrong team, but you didn't. So that's okay that you didn't take the popular side, that you took Gypsy's side. Desperate. We get it. You needed something. You're really, really good friends. Good friends. How often do you see your good friends? And one more time, just because. Being that you kept going after my dead ex-wife, where the hell is your live, real husband? Where is he? I'm going to ask one more time. Why can't he pick your puddle up from the couch? Why isn't he there for you? Why do you have so much time to cause destruction online? Why is there a gaping hole inside of you, Bree? Bree, this by rights should be off limit, but you keep calling me names. You keep on. My ex-wife, she's dead. Your life, Bree, is shit. And the fact that you get on and start picking on people and deciding, because you decided, you said all this shit about Nick. So people defended Nick. You didn't have a problem with bashing people who were saying Gypsy's A, B, C, D, E. I mean, she went to prison for that shit. So she is a murderer. No matter how you look at it, she was convicted of it. But nobody was sticking up for her. Trust me, Bree, we were all sticking up for her until she lied and lied and lied. And her own story was the story that had so many holes. Had she have gotten out of prison, shut the fuck up, and went away, nobody would be the wiser. But she didn't. And being that her story was made on a bunch of untruths, it doesn't hold up. And why you get so upset about that, but, you know, Bree, nobody wants to see anybody hurt themselves or unalive anybody or anything like that. But you simply don't give a shit about that when you go into people's families and behave in such a grotesque way. And then you get on somebody's live stream and complain about how you do that so it doesn't hurt you. Just shut up. You don't have to do anything. And nobody would say anything about you. You started this. Stop it. And people will stop saying shit. But don't act like you're all, I don't know, a victim now. I mean, that's such a Gypsy way. Of course, that's the way it should be. That's just the way it should be. Guys, Gypsy was busy. And she had a lot of worker bees around her. And you know what, Gypsy? I knew MPG was connected to you. Maybe everybody will know that now. I knew Fancy, well, we all knew Fancy was connected to you at one point in time. And again, Fancy, I'd like to thank you for Dawn Boker, because that really helped the situation a great deal. You know, guys, I've talked about, you know, a responsibility of content creators and stuff we put out there. Anybody that manipulates a scene to make something happen, they're not a content creator. They're just vicious and vile. Just like Fancy was trying to get a story she wanted to get out that has now later come back tenfold and destroyed the person that was actually one of the victims. And I think that was Nick. And I don't think that Nick should be roaming the streets. I don't think that's my call. All I ever wanted for Nick, this is what MPG said, what does justice for Nick look like? Or what do you, like, we shouldn't hold Gypsy accountable because she did everything she was supposed to do. Like, what do we expect from her is what MPG Cornerstone says. All I wanted for Nick was I wanted his true mitigating circumstances to be considered, because Gypsy's fake mitigating circumstances were considered. That's all I wanted for Nick, was something fair. And whatever the judge decided on the true story, whatever sentence Nick got with that, I would have been fine with that. But I just thought he should have a fair trial. Not all this big shenanigan bullshit that NPG tried to get for $250,000 that apparently they're doing for free now. I don't know. Timing again, isn't it? Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.